You're trying to be the hero of your own life, but the crushing weight of debt and rent has you feeling like an NPC. So you pick up that controller and get lost in your favorite game, and before you know it, you have barely moved. Hours, if not days, have gone by, and you have little to show for your time. Why are video games so addictive? Why do we prefer them to actual life, even when the game might be simulating actual life? Now let me just say right off the bat that I believe well-made games are works of art. Video games have given me experiences that I could never have had in my life. Video games also require you to learn quickly, upgrade your skills, overcome repeated failures, and solve complex problems. These are all skills that you can apply to life. However, so many people are content to just play video games and choose gaming over real life. So I want to explore how video games, despite having many benefits, are so fundamentally different from life and why they are just that much more seductive. In games, we all start from zero. Even if different players have different skill levels, starting from zero gives us a feeling of fairness. In life, of course, not everyone starts from zero. Some start with a lot, and many start with less than nothing. You do not get to choose your starting character and your attributes, your predilections and preferences, your fears and weaknesses. Some might start with handicaps, while others might start with cheat codes. Life randomly assigns you your starting character. Your sex, genetics, and the socioeconomic status of your parents, mental hardwiring, and traumas will shape you without you even realizing it until you're much older. Some never realize it. Imagine that just by the roll of a dice, one of your friends started off with a completely different loadout than you, and you are outclassed from the start. How do you feel? Life can at times seem incredibly unfair, but the trick is not to compete against others, but to compete against yourself. Count your blessings and endowments and work around your weaknesses. Go further and faster today than you did yesterday. In life, there is a far less certain link between cause and effect, between action and reaction. There is much more randomness in life. I know games try to introduce randomness, but it has an inherent need to be fair. It has to hook its players and keep them playing. It has to have balance between characters or factions. The creators inject their games with an inherent sense of justice. You can fight a monster and upgrade your level, and if you upgrade your level, you can wield a better sword or a bigger gun, which allows you to kill bigger and more difficult enemies. The space between action and consequence is compressed and made clear. Progression is clear. There is a contract between the game and the players. There is a guarantee that A will lead to B and B will lead to C and C will lead to D and so on. In life, things don't work out that way. You can study for years at university and not get a job because you graduated into a recession. You can work hard and not get a promotion. A storm or fire can destroy your home, or you could be cut down with a terrible medical diagnosis. You can push and yet see nothing move. There is no justice, there is no balance, there is no contract we have with the cosmos. Instead, one must think of things in terms of probabilities. Working hard increases the chances of success. Saving money increases the chances of building wealth. Dressing well and being social and sociable increases the chances of building relationships. So for every action you consider taking, you need to ask yourself, will this action make the life I want more probable or less probable? In life, unlike games, there are no guarantees. In games, progression is generally very clear. You know exactly which level you're on. You know exactly how strong your character is, how far you have traveled. There are numbers and dials and meters and maps and sliders that show you exactly where you are. But in life, you won't really know that you're getting better until you realize it all at once. In university, I often used to wonder, who would pay me $50,000 or $60,000 or more per year to do anything? Was I really worth that much? But over time, I got better and amassed knowledge and experience and education, and one day I spoke to an intern and realized just how vast the gap in ability and knowledge was between us. Things are harder to measure in life, and because of it, we might be more likely to not stick to things. Because progress is not something that is quantifiable, and so progression relies on faith. A belief that actions will lead to results, but perhaps those results will not be apparent day to day. You knew this was coming. In life, there is no load game, no checkpoints, no retries, and no saved games.
When your life reaches zero, the game is over. There are no continues, my friend.
Lost loves, lost time over lost causes, lost chances, lost youth, that risk you never took, that mistake you wish you hadn't made, all will remain immutably in the past. If there are any game devs watching, here's an idea. Why not make a game that you can only play once? Like, you die and it's over, you can never play that game again. True permadeath. And what if you injured yourself, you'd have to play the rest of the game with that injury. So if you hurt your leg or you got shot in the leg, you'd be limping for the rest of the game. That'd be pretty interesting. While we do not have a load game option in real life, we do get the next best thing. We get to learn from our failures and play a slightly different level the next time. So the next time an opportunity presents itself, or we have to decide to take a risk or make a decision, we will have the benefit of all the accumulated experience and knowledge from previous failures to learn from. There is no option to replay, but that doesn't mean we don't get another chance. Building a career can take decades, as can saving and retiring early. Getting fit can take a year or longer. Developing a good character can take a lifetime. In games, the rewards come fast. Even a very long game may be 100 hours long, and one could, playing at a casual rate, complete the game in a matter of several weeks or a few months. Most games, however, take far less time to complete. I think human beings crave a sense of progression in their lives, but with video games, you can get that much faster. Those dopamine hits come in more frequently and easily. So video games seem preferable to life, where things take time and where there isn't a clear link between action and reaction. But learning to look at life the right way, to identify and savor the triumphs and learn from our losses, can tap into that need we have to advance and grow. Unless you're a professional esports player, let's be honest, the stakes in video games are very low. Yes, we can get fully absorbed in a story, our hearts might skip a beat when we're down to the last sliver of life, fighting monsters in the dark, but once it's over, you can put that controller down and walk away untouched. No bruises, no scratches, and no broken bones. I even married 3 women in The Sims once. What can I say? I was a teenager. While some games may inflict emotional pain, there is no physical pain, and we always have the option to replay. In life, of course, the stakes are much higher. Losing a job, losing a fight, losing a loved one, losing sleep over unrequited love. And higher stakes need greater effort. There is a price to be paid for failure. There is a cost for trying. I want you to think about how much harder we fight when the stakes are higher. In games, we know what it is we need to do. Often, it's made very clear to us. Maps and waypoints guide us. People we meet might tell us. We are in a story, and a story must have an end. Some place it all leads to. Whether it's a climactic fight with a final boss, solving a hard puzzle, or being the last man standing, we are always nudged towards an end. In life, there is no clear enemy, no clear objective. Not everything in life is wrapped up with a neat little bow. Often, questions are left unanswered, wounds are left unhealed, and stories are left unfinished. The goal of living a good life is too vague. What does that even mean? And whatever it means might change over time. Being rich is an objective, but what it means to be rich might change over time. How do you fight an enemy when you cannot even see the enemy? And often, the enemy is you, or within you. The enemy could be laziness, or lack of knowledge, or the lack of wisdom. You may be quick to anger, you may speak without thinking. You may be selfish, or volatile, or impulsive, or envious. Your true enemy might be these base impulses. and the struggle might be in controlling them. I want to end fittingly with endings. Games generally end, the story ends, or the game mechanic becomes repetitive, or you fall out of love with the game. In any case, games come to an end. Life ends too, but if you're lucky, it's going to take a lot longer. The story of your life has no inherent meaning. It is a story that you make up as you go, day in and day out. It is less a book you read and more one that you write. Life is not a video game that you win, but a set of scales where you try to make sure that the side of contentment and joy and fulfillment is heavier than the side with sorrow and grief and failure and pain. Imagine beating the final level or the final boss and finishing the game, but then having to live on and play on another 100 hours or 1,000 hours, get old and spend uneventful decades in-game reminiscing about past glory. Rarely is triumph so clear or definite. There are valleys that follow the peaks and peaks that follow the valleys. Life is not a video game. It is a story you live day in, day out. After ascending the summit of success, you'll still be there, burdened with continuity. You can enjoy the view, but you'll still need to climb all the way down and go on with the rest of your life. Your tale likely will not end with a victory.
It's over.